Final part, let's get into it. So the face is completely unset. We did all the creams, all the liquids. Now it's time to set. Get a pressed powder, not a loose powder. This is my Huda Beauty Easy Bake and Snatch pressed powder. This is in the shade Blondie. I'm actually trying this shade for the first time. I would typically go in with the pink powder, which is Cherry Blossom, but I wanted to switch it up. I don't want pink under the eyes today. Get a powder puff. Get a powder puff. Put some product on your powder puff. Now, before you set under your eyes, you want to make sure there are no creases. So right before I set, I will go in with my beauty sponge, not looking back down. I will press into the skin. Now we can look down because she's set. The purpose of powder is to lock in and set and create a more mattified version of your skin. As you can see right here, we're very greasy and glossy looking, which is right here, no reflection, she's set. We're gonna wanna do this all over the center of our face. So with this pressed powder, I will set under my eyes, around my nose, my chin, and my forehead. I would use this powder to set the rest of my face, but I feel like it's a little too bright. Take a pressed powder close to your skin tone. This one is from Rare Beauty in the shade Ivory, or a translucent one, a big fluffy brush, and just pat her all over the rest of your face. I love this one because it gives you like that real skin look. Not too mattified. It keeps the radiance, but it does set. Now we're semi-locked in, okay? Not all the way. I always love to bake. I'll show you what that is when the step comes. But before I bake, I like to go in with a powder bronzer, even though I already went in with a cream bronzer. I like bronzer. This one is the Armani Luminous Silk Bronzing Powder. As we can see, she's so good that I keep her even though she's broken. I take a fluffy bronzer brush, and I will just dust this exactly where I put that cream bronzer in the last video. I shouldn't say dust. I press it in and then I swipe. This is just gonna give you more of a bronzy glow, and I use this one and a cream one because I love bronze. I will dust a little bit on my chin. You're gonna wanna watch out right here though, because it could easily look like very streaky down here. Around the face is bronze, but I wanna sculpt up my nose a little bit. I'll take just a fluffy brush, same bronzer. I'll just circle that tip of my nose with a little bit of this bronzer, leaving the center open. And then I'm gonna go right under my brow and define this area right here. And then drag that all the way down to the tip of your nose. Do we see how that nose is already that much more snatched and we're not even finished? Now we're on the baking stage. This is my favorite part. This is when you want to grab a loose powder. This is the Huda Beauty Loose Powder in Peach Pie. It has a peachy tint, but it won't show up too much. Take in a powder puff. I'm first gonna coat the side of the powder puff so that I can sculpt my nose. Just basically outlining where we bronzed to give a sharper look. Then I'm gonna coat the whole tip of the powder puff and set completely everywhere under our eyes, going up the sides of the face. I also like to set right here on the center of my forehead because it tends to get oily quicker, and then on my chin. This prevents getting oily quicker. It'll give your face more of that polished look, and it'll just keep everything locked in. I don't let this sit for too long. I'll literally let it sit for like 45 seconds. Whatever brush you have to dust off your bake is fine, but I like to take more of a smaller, compact, stubby brush. This is how I dust off my bake. I first press it in, and whatever is not pressed in, I then flick from side to side. Same thing, absolutely everywhere else. For under the eyes, I start right here first. I press in, and then I flick. And then with the nose, I swipe inwards. Just make sure all that powder is dusted off, because if you leave it on, it'll collide with like your sweat and it'll just look milky. The face is completely set. Powder blush. If you're fine with this amount of blush from the liquid, that's cool with you, but me, oh, I always want more. Take your favorite powder blush. This one is from Dior in the shade Poppy Coral, and I'm just going to pack my blush right here. Same place that I put my liquid blush. I'll dust a little bit on my forehead, but not too much. And I always place some on the center of my nose. When it comes to highlighters, there are cream or liquid highlighters and powder highlighters. Once again, I'm extra, so I go in with both. This one is from Patrick Ta. Unfortunately, she broke during the airplane. This is in the shade Daddy, and I'll just take whatever brush I have on hand, honestly. I will press this into very high points of my cheeks. I like using a dual-ended brush for this because you can dab in, and then you can kind of diffuse the outer parts. Literally looks like your skin radiating through your foundation, which I love. I'll also wipe some on the tip of my nose in the bridge. Then I'm going in with my powder highlighter. This is the Chanel multi-use eyeshadow and highlighter palette. We'll mix it with this golden shade and the champagne shade. And I just lightly go over this cream highlighter that we have on the skin. I love this palette specifically because it looks like light is on you rather than glitter. I'm not a fan of a super chunky glittery highlighter. Tell me that does not just look like light radiating from my face. It is absolutely beautiful. Of course, on the tip of the nose and the bridge again. Let's set this freaking face. Setting spray is a must-have in my opinion. It just adds another layer to not transfer your makeup. Huda Beauty I just started using this. This is the new Huda Beauty Easy Bake Setting Spray. Spray from a distance your entire face. For that extra step, I will go in with my One Size waterproof spray and just coat it super quickly. I know we've all done our lipstick before, so I'm not even gonna go into in depth with that, but I'm gonna show you what I'm using. Sometimes people will look at this lipstick and be like, when would I ever wear this on my lips? Because let me show you. I don't like that. Do you like that? You need a lip liner and you need it to be darker if you don't wanna look like concealer lips. Taking this lip liner from NYX Cosmetics. I'm scared. I haven't tried the plumping lip liner, and that's what this is. This is in the shade Dash of Cocoa. I'm going to outline my lips with this lip liner. The purpose of using a lip liner is to create a barrier so that your lipstick does not bleed out onto your face. I feel like more mature skin should especially wear a lip liner because they do have aging and wrinkling around the lip to where the lipstick can easily bleed out into that. But it also is part of the art of lipstick. For example, I'm wearing a completely different shade of lip liner than my lipstick is. That's gonna add to the look. For example, I will not ever wear this lipstick without a lip liner on. It just wouldn't work out for me. But with this lip liner, it suddenly looks beautiful. Wait, NYX Cosmetics, I love these. What the heck? This is that same brush we used from part 1 to do the brows, and I always just use the leftover concealer to shape up my lips. By the way, this is the MAC Maximal Sleek Satin Lipstick in Call It Cozy. Should we do a lip gloss? I think so. Fenty Skin Lip Oil in Watermelon Treat. Just gravitated towards this one because it doesn't really have a color. It's just peachy. Oh, I don't want it to be done. Hope you learned some stuff from this. You had to have, right? Obviously, you're not gonna get a look just like this the first time you try it, or the second, or in a month, or in 3 months. Some of you guys might. Y'all are natural born artists. Makeup is all about blending the feel of it. Even your hand going to your face, it's like drawing and writing. You're not just gonna naturally know how to place a beauty blender under your eye and blend it in. It comes with practice. But there you go. That's how I do my entire face of makeup, completely broken down. Love you guys. Let's beat our faces.